He stalked her for months before breaking into her home and stabbing her to death in 2020.
God, sweetheart, did I fail you? Because I don't know how the hell I slipped through this. And that I have to carry for the rest of my life.
Aggie Manno can never forget the day her daughter Celeste Manno died.
Please, sweetie, please don't leave me. Don't leave me. Never, ever did it occur to me that this beast would be capable of something like this.
Who is this beast? Why did he stalk Celeste Manno? What did he do to her body? Stay tuned to find out, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and click the notification bell. Without further ado, let's get started. Most people barely hesitate before sharing photos or memories on social media. In this digital age, social media dominates our lives, connecting us quickly to countless people. But hidden in its shadows are unseen dangers. Celeste Manno, a vibrant young woman with a promising future, had no idea that someone, an obsessive stranger, was fixated on her. She couldn't have imagined that this fixation would soon turn her life into a living nightmare. Celeste Manno was born on November 22, 1996, in Italy. She had two brothers, an older half-brother, Jaden, and a younger brother, Alessandro. Her family moved to Melbourne, Australia, during her childhood. A bright and driven student, Celeste graduated from high school and pursued criminology and psychology at RMIT University in 2015. She dreamed of becoming a psychologist, determined to help others by unlocking the mysteries of the human mind. After college, Celeste worked at Serco, a call center in Mill Park, Melbourne. Her exceptional skills and dedication earned her a promotion to team leader. It was there she met Chris Risdale, and the two began a relationship. Celeste was known for her kindness and generosity. Chris, Celeste's boyfriend, cherished her deeply. To him, Celeste was a rare treasure, and he often said he felt incredibly lucky that she had chosen him to share her life. Celeste loved her family, especially her mother, Aggie. After graduation, Celeste lived with Aggie in Mernda. The two had a perfect mother-daughter relationship. Celeste confided in Aggie about almost everything, and their nightly ritual became a symbol of their bond. Before bed, Aggie would tuck Celeste in, and they would talk about their day. Celeste's life was full of potential and promise. She had so much to explore, so many dreams to fulfill, and a bright future ahead. But the safety of her home, a place most people believe to be their ultimate refuge, would be shattered. Just days before her 24th birthday, Celeste's life would come to a sudden end in the very place she felt most secure. On November 14, 2020, Celeste and Chris enjoyed a rooftop brunch in Melbourne, celebrating the easing of COVID-19 lockdown restrictions. It was a joyful moment for the couple, who could finally meet in person after the long months apart. During that brunch, Celeste decided to take a meaningful step. She officially announced her relationship with Chris official on social media, posting a heartwarming photo of the two of them. For both Celeste and Chris, the relationship was serious, and it felt like the right time to share their love to the world. The next day, Sunday, November 15, 2020, Celeste posted the picture on Instagram. She spent the day relaxing, watching a movie, and making plans for her 24th birthday with her mother. As night fell, Celeste and Aggie followed their cherished nightly routine. Aggie tucked Celeste into bed and told her, "I love you." Celeste smiled and replied, "I love you more. Good night." Neither of them knew it would be the last time those words were exchanged. That tender farewell would soon become a haunting memory, marking the end of Celeste's vibrant life far too soon. At around 4:10 a.m. on November 16, 2020, Aggie was startled awake by the unmistakable sound of shattering glass. It came from her daughter's bedroom. Aggie rushed to find Celeste, only to discover a nightmare no parent should ever face.
A million pieces of glass just crashing, and all of a sudden I heard, oh. So I remember just going, "Celeste," and I just ran out of bed and I'm just screaming her name down the hallway. "Celeste, sweetie, what happened?" And I realise that I'm running all over glass, I'm seeing blood. I still don't get it, and I'm pulling her out of the bed. She's not helping me at all, but I see all that glass, and so I thought I didn't want to drop her on all that.
Celeste, just 23 years old, lay lifeless on her bed, soaked in blood. Her bedroom window had been smashed, glass scattered across the floor. Aggie froze in shock, unable to process the horror. Just hours earlier, they had shared a loving goodnight, and now Celeste's motionless body was before her. Desperate, Aggie held her daughter, pleading with her to wake up, to speak, to give any sign of life.
Breathe, sweetie, please don't leave me. Don't leave me.
Emergency services were called immediately. When the paramedics arrived, they were met with a horrifying scene. Celeste's room bore the marks of a brutal attack, and Aggie begged them to save her daughter. But it was too late. Celeste was gone. Celeste's body was taken for an autopsy, which revealed the full horror of what had happened. She had been stabbed 23 times. Deep defensive wounds marked her arms and forearms, showing that she had fought to save herself. The violence was evident in every wound on Celeste's chest, arms, and stomach. It was pure rage and frenzy. What was even more shocking was the speed of the attack. The police estimated it happened in 2 minutes, but to Aggie it felt like a few seconds. She rushed to Celeste's room as soon as the glass shattered. Their house wasn't large. How could such a brutal crime happen so quickly, so close? As investigators scoured the room for clues, Aggie's sorrow gave way to fury. She screamed, "He killed her."
What? Oh my God, he killed her! He said, "You know who did this?" I said, "Yeah."
Those words gripped the officers. Who was he? Slowly, the truth emerged, and the detectives were stunned. The man she spoke of wasn't a stranger. He was someone both Celeste and Aggie knew and feared. For months, they had gone to the police, reported a man who crazily obsessed with Celeste, but none took any action. That man was Louis Sacco, a 35-year-old former co-worker of Celeste. The tragedy was more than a murder. It was a failure to act on warnings. A failure to protect a bright young woman from a man whose obsession turned deadly. Louis Sacco, born in 1984 in Iraq, was the eldest of 5 children in a Christian family. In 1992, his family was granted a humanitarian visa, and they migrated to Australia. Growing up, Louis was described as sweet and caring, but introverted, often spending hours alone in his room. As he entered college, he became even more withdrawn, having no close relationships and keeping largely to himself. After graduation, Louis faced prolonged unemployment until April 2018, when he was hired at Serco, a call center where Celeste Manno also worked. They were placed on the same team, which Celeste led. However, it wasn't until June 2019, on his last day at the job, that Louis truly took notice of her. Fired for poor performance, Louis was escorted out of the office by Celeste herself. She said goodbye and wished him good luck, offered a professional handshake. Suddenly, Louis pulled her close and kissed her cheek. Celeste was startled and deeply uncomfortable. That evening, she confided in her mother, Aggie, who dismissed the incident as a harmless crush.
And he plants a kiss on my cheek, Mum. I must have gone tomato red. I was so embarrassed. And I said, "You're such a drama queen, sweetie. He's probably had a crush on you all along and you haven't even realised."
But Louis's actions were far from innocent. A week later, Celeste received an Instagram message from Louis. Initially, the tone seemed mild. He professed his admiration, saying he couldn't eat, sleep, or function without her, and asking if she felt the same. Celeste responded politely, thanking him for his kind words, but making it clear she only saw him in a professional capacity. She wished him well and blocked his account, but Louis refused to accept her rejection. His obsession deepened, leading him to create dozens of fake Instagram accounts to stalk and harass her. The messages escalated, growing increasingly inappropriate and disturbing. At one point, he texted, "Celeste, if you had my body for a day, what would you do to me?" Celeste sternly told him to stop. "This is making me very uncomfortable. Please respect my wishes and stop contacting me." Despite her firm boundaries, Louis's obsession only intensified. Each time she blocked an account, he created another. His creepy stalking left Celeste feeling powerless, anxious, and exhausted. Her fear was palpable to those around her, including her mother Aggie and her boyfriend Chris. Despite their support, no one could stop Louis. Louis's obsession soon transformed into anger. His messages, which once expressed love, now brimmed with resentment. In one of his final notes, he wrote, "My impression of you has changed. You're no different from the majority of women. I will devote every ounce of energy I have to climbing up and proving to the world that I am somebody. That is my promise to you, my final contact with you." But this wasn't the end. Celeste hoped that ignoring him would make him lose interest. But instead, Louis's obsession became a dangerous fixation. What began as disturbing messages would soon culminate in an act of unspeakable violence, forever altering the lives of those who loved her. After 6 agonizing months of relentless harassment, Aggie finally convinced her daughter, Celeste, to report Louis Sacco to the police. Hoping for help, they went to the station and detailed the nightmare Celeste had been enduring. Instead of finding support, they were met with indifference. The officers dismissed Celeste's fears, claiming that Louis hadn't committed a crime. Then, to her shock, the officers advised her to get off social media, saying this was the norm. For those who shared their lives online, it was victim blaming in the purest form.
And when you walk into the police station, what do they say to you?
He hasn't committed a crime. There's nothing we can do about it. He looked at Celeste and he said, "Well, just ignore it." She goes, "I have been ignoring." And then he said, "That's social media these days. If you don't like it, get off social media."
Did they take his name? Did they indicate they might talk to him?
I don't even remember him taking notes. Nothing.
Stalking claims are often brushed aside, and the existing laws meant to address harassment are so vague and poorly enforced that most cases are ignored until physical harm occurs. Unfortunately, by the time a crime is committed, it's often too late to save the victim. This systemic failure to take stalking seriously left Celeste vulnerable, forcing her to endure Louis's harassment for another 6 months without any intervention. During this time, Louis's obsession escalated. Celeste received nearly 140 messages from him through fake accounts. Almost all of them were sexual content and harassment, like, "I would hold your face in my hands and kiss your beautiful face endlessly." Have you ever had a beast pounce on you, Celeste? A single girl like yourself is bound to be constantly switching from one cock to another, probably because deep down you're wildly kinky. Hence, this makes you a slut. His behavior became increasingly alarming. He began parking his car outside her workplace and even followed her home, discovering the suburb where she lived. This was every stalking victim's worst fear. Celeste confided in a coworker, saying she was terrified of Louis and believed he would kill her. The fear was suffocating. She could no longer live her life in peace, constantly looking over her shoulder and losing sleep over the growing threat. Finally, Aggie and Celeste decided they couldn't wait any longer. Another visit to the police station was necessary. This time they encountered a compassionate officer who advised them to file for a personal safety intervention order, PSIO, against Louis.
He says, "Have you been to the police before?" And I said, "Yes, actually 6 months ago." "Are you telling me something should have been done then?" He said, "Let's just say some of us do our job better than others." It was like this sense of relief. And he says, "Okay, you need to get an intervention order now."
They followed the advice, and though Louis tried to contest the order in court, it was denied. For a brief moment, Celeste's life seemed to return to normal. A month passed with no messages, no sightings, and no signs of Louis. She began to feel safe again. But peace was short-lived. On August 15, 2020, just 3 months before the horrific attack, Celeste received a chilling 3-page letter from Louis. In it, he begged her to withdraw the intervention order and assured her that, if she did, he would move on and leave her alone. The letter ended with a smiley face. He said, "The ball is in your court. Only you can end this now, Celeste. Please end this nonsense by withdrawing the order and stopping the charges against me for stalking and harassment. And if you make the right choice, both of us can move on and we can finally have peace of mind." This letter was a direct violation of the intervention order.
Oh my God. So he's breached the order now. Gosh, I can't believe he breached it.
When Celeste informed the police, they finally had a reason to act. For the first time, Louis had committed a crime that couldn't be ignored. At the end of August 2020, he was arrested for breaching the safety intervention order. It should have been the end of her torment. But shockingly, within a day, Louis was released from custody. The brief arrest only fueled his anger towards Celeste. He couldn't fathom that she would take such measures against him. In his deluded mind, he believed she should feel grateful for his obsession. After his release, Louis sent Celeste a venomous final message, writing, "I know you rejected me. I get it. I'm like dirt to you. I get it. I know you hate me. I get it." Around the same time, he purchased a hammer and a knife from a local supermarket. Then he disappeared. For 3 months, Celeste heard nothing from him. No messages, no sightings, no threats. On the surface, it seemed like he had finally let go. But the silence wasn't a sign of surrender. It was the ominous quiet before the storm.
On November 14, 2020, Celeste went on a date with Chris and even made their relationship public by posting a couple photo online.
It was a happy moment for her, a declaration of freedom after so much fear and anguish. But Louis had been watching. Lurking in the shadows, he was waiting for the right opportunity. That photo was the catalyst that triggered his plot of revenge. In the days leading up to November 16, 2020, Louis Sacco meticulously planned a violent attack on Celeste Manno. By stalking, he had identified her home and recognized her car parked in the driveway. Somehow, he even acquired a floor plan of the house, allowing him to locate Celeste's bedroom with chilling precision. His intentions were clear. If he couldn't have her, no one else could. At around 4:10 a.m. on November 16th, Louis scaled the side fence of Celeste's home. Armed with a hammer, he shattered Celeste's bedroom window. The loud crash startled Aggie awake. As she rushed to investigate, Louis climbed into Celeste's room. What followed was a frenzied, brutal attack. Within 2 minutes, Louis stabbed Celeste at least 23 times. After leaving her lifeless body behind, Louis fled the way he came, climbing back over the fence, now stained with blood.
The aftermath was caught on a neighbor's CCTV, which recorded Louis's car speeding away from the street just as paramedics arrived at the scene. By the time help came, it was too late.
When police learned about Louis's year-long campaign of harassment, they knew he was their prime suspect. But they didn't need to search for him. Hours after the attack, Louis walked into a police station, his hand injured and still bearing traces of the violence. He confessed in chilling terms, "She's dead. She's dead. Go have a look. You know what happened. It's your fault." It was a damning statement. His words struck at the core of the failure that had allowed this tragedy to unfold. The system had failed to protect Celeste, despite her repeated cries for help. And now, the worst had happened. After confessing to the murder, Louis Sacco tried to provoke police into shooting him, a desperate bid to evade justice and die alongside his victim. But instead of granting his twisted wish, police apprehended and arrested him. As they delved into his digital footprint, a horrifying picture of his obsession emerged. Investigators discovered that Louis had been closely monitoring Celeste on Instagram, saving hundreds of screenshots of her and her boyfriend Chris. His laptop revealed an unsettling level of planning, searches about Chris, the bar where Celeste and Chris had their date, and even floor plans of Celeste's home. The level of detail in his stalking was chilling, but how he obtained these floor plans remains a mystery. These discoveries left no doubt that his crime was premeditated. Despite confessing to the crime, Louis manipulated the justice system to delay his trial, which dragged on for nearly 3 years. COVID-19 restrictions played a part, but Louis himself was a significant factor. Claiming mental instability, he pled guilty, but tried to portray himself as a victim of psychosis. He repeatedly fired his lawyers, delaying proceedings, and at times even represented himself in court. Louis's attempts to downplay the brutality of his actions were appalling. He argued that he had only stabbed Celeste twice, not 23 times, contradicting the coroner's findings. His deceit and manipulation forced the court to conduct multiple psychiatric evaluations. One evaluation, conducted by Dr. Dargy, suggested that Louis suffered from hallucinations and claimed that an imaginary entity named Isha compelled him to act violently. However, Dr. Dargy also warned the court that Louis was highly likely to reoffend if released, noting his manipulative tendencies and the potential danger he posed if he garnered sympathy from female prison guards. Ultimately, it became clear that Lue had fabricated his symptoms. The court concluded that he was a narcissistic individual who couldn't accept rejection. His elaborate lies were nothing more than an attempt to gain a lighter sentence. On February 29, 2024, 39-year-old Lue Sacco was sentenced to 36 years in prison with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Justice Dixon acknowledged the premeditated nature of the crime, but stopped short of life imprisonment, citing Lue's rare and extreme personality disorder as a mitigating factor. Justice Dixon also emphasized the profound trauma inflicted on Celeste's family. But for them, the sentence felt unfair. Lue had brutally ended Celeste's life, yet he would serve 36 years, only a fraction of his own behind bars. After the sentencing, Aggie Manno voiced her heartbreak and anger.
Today's outcome proves just how flawed the justice system is.
She accused the police and courts of showing Lue mercy, something they had denied her daughter when she pleaded for help not once but twice. Justice, in her eyes, had not been served. At Celeste's funeral, over 100 mourners gathered to pay their respects. It was a testament to the bright, loving person she had been. Aggie was inconsolable, grieving not only for the life that was lost, but for the moments that would never come. Celeste walking down the aisle, becoming a mother and achieving her dreams. Aggie's pain was shared by Celeste's brothers, Jaden and Alessandro, who were left with memories of their sister's warm smile and caring soul. Since the sentencing, Aggie has channeled her grief into action. She has become a vocal advocate for tightening stalking laws and implementing electronic monitoring for offenders. Aggie believes that if Lue had been tracked after the intervention order was issued, Celeste's murder might have been prevented. She is determined to honor her daughter's memory by fighting for systemic change, fulfills a promise she made to Celeste, to seek justice and protect others from suffering the same fate. Aggie's campaign underscores a harsh truth. Stalking is a serious crime that is often ignored. Nearly half of stalking victims don't report incidents, fearing they won't be taken seriously. Stalking laws must evolve. Law enforcement agencies must take every report seriously and act before harassment turns violent. And that brings us to the end of this episode. What do you think of this story? Feel free to share in the comments. If there's a case you're interested in, let us know. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Stay safe, and we'll see you next time.